Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Arpita Karwa and today in this video I'm going to do a detailed UGC net cutoff analysis based on the previous year trends. I am also going to help you find out how much marks should you score in the upcoming net exam so that you can easily clear the cutoff. Now this video of my friends is going to be beneficial for all the students who are planning to appear for UGC net irrespective of their paper 2 subject. So make sure you stay tuned and watch this video till the end. I am also going to share complete breakdown of marks required for you to get in paper 1 and paper 2 towards the end of the video so that you can exactly know how much should you score in paper 1 and paper 2 and how can you score above the cutoff. Now, before we move on and do the detailed analysis of the cutoff, I would want to answer a question which is frequently asked by a lot of students. When I talk about cutoff, a lot of UGC net aspirants who are preparing for the first time, they say that why is it important for us to know the cutoff? We have the syllabus in mind, we have all the preparation resources, we can directly start reading the books. Why do we need to know the cutoff? Now, there are three major reasons for that. Firstly, cutoff will help you to plan your exam strategy. Think about it this way. Let's say you do not have a destination in mind and you decide to take your car out of the garage and you start driving. You do not know where are you heading towards, but you are just driving and burning the petrol. Will you ever reach your destination? Most probably not. Why? Because if you do not know the destination, then you are not going to follow the path that will lead you to the destination. If I know that I have to go to Kanpur from Jaipur, then I am going to put the Google Maps on and I will start driving towards Kanpur. So that is exactly why cutoff is important, because cutoff will help you to know what is your destination, what is the score that you have to reach. Number two, when you are going to take mock test towards the end of your preparation in the last 1 month, most of the students would start giving mock tests to analyze whether they are well prepared or not. Now, if you do not know the cutoff, then how are you going to analyze your mock test score? You will have to compare your score with the required cutoff to see whether it's a safe score or not. If I do not know what's the cutoff score, even if I'm securing 40% marks, I might feel that it's a bad score or it's a good score. And even if I'm securing 90% in my mock test, I might feel disheartened that, oh, I'm still 10% less. But if you know the cutoff score, then you will exactly know that how much more marks do you need to get in order to land in that safe zone, safe score zone. And number three, you need to know the cutoff so that you do not pressurize yourself to get full marks. Friends, a lot of students make this mistake. They think that a competitive exam like UGC NET is like your boards. You have to score full marks. You have to attempt all the questions and you have to get all the questions right. But what is there to understand is the fact that this entire exam is not asking you to get all the questions right or to get a full 100 on 100 score. Rather, this is a competitive exam which just wants you to score above the cutoff. Now, once we start doing the cutoff analysis, you will understand that for your subject, maybe the cutoff is somewhere around 65 or 70%. So, if you are getting 70% questions right in your mock test, then it's a great score. For some other person, the score might be around 85%. So, if that person is getting 85% marks correctly, questions correctly, then it's a safe score. So, you do not have to over pressurize yourself to get all the questions right. And that is the three major reasons why you need to know the cutoff. Now that, friends, we've understood why knowing the cutoff is beneficial for your exam preparation and why should you know the cutoff before you even start your preparation, let us look at the factors on which cutoff would depend. So, majorly there are three factors on which the cutoff would depend. We are going to look at it, but I would also suggest that if you really want to look at the cutoff, then you can go to the official site of UGC, download the cutoff list from there, and then you will be able to find out the cutoff for your particular subject. So now let me just quickly take you through all the three factors on which this cutoff would depend. The first is the subject. So I'm sure all of you must be aware of the fact that UGC NET is conducted in 85 subjects. Now, if I classify these 85 subjects into two broad categories, I will come across two major categories. One are the popular subjects like economics, management, English, history. Basically, by the word popular, I mean to say that more number of students would appear for these subjects, more people know about these subjects. That is the reason I classify them as popular subjects. Then, on the other hand, we have unpopular subjects. Unpopular subjects would have subjects like dance, Urdu, yoga, linguistics, library sciences. So these are subjects in which lesser number of students sit and give UGC NET exam. So when we look at subjects, we will kind of, after doing a thorough analysis, come to a conclusion that the cutoff range for popular subjects for NET will range between 50 to 60% marks, whereas for unpopular subject it would be slightly higher, somewhere around 70 to 80% marks is needed in order to clear the cutoff. Okay, so this is the first important factor on which your cutoff will depend. The second important factor is the category. Now, category की अगर हम बात करते हैं, so there are two major categories. One is unreserved and one is reserved category. So unreserved may all the general students would come under this category, whereas for reserved we have further classification with ST, SC, OBC. Now, if you look at the category wise cutoff, you will see that the cutoff of general category is generally 5 to 6% higher than the cutoff of the reserved category. So let's say the cutoff of general category is 60% for a particular subject, then in that case, for the same subject, the cutoff for ST/SC will range between 50 to 55%. Okay. Now, moving on to the third factor. Third factor is the aim. So, I'm sure you all must be aware of the fact that once you give NET exam and the result is out, the students would fall under one of the three categories. One is only PhD, who have just qualified for PhD. That means they are now eligible to go to any college or university and pursue their PhD. Then the second category is the NET category. That means the students who fall under this category would be qualified to be an assistant professor in any college or university in India. And then we have the third category, which is the JRF, that means Junior Research Fellowship. These are the students who qualify for assistant professor, as well as when they enroll themselves in a PhD program, they will be getting a stipend of 25,000 to 30,000 per month from the side of the government for the entire tenure of their PhD. So they also get a stipend or a grant from the government while they are pursuing their PhD. And JRF candidates are the highest in the hierarchy. So the lowest being only PhD, then NET, and then JRF. That means if you qualify for JRF, that means you are in the top 6% of the students who have qualified NET. Okay. Now, looking at this classification, you will be able to see a general trend across all the subjects that the students who qualify for NET will have about 10 to 12% more marks than those who qualify for only JRF, only PhD. And those who qualify for JRF will have about 5 to 6% higher percentage than those who qualify for NET. So basically, the lowest one would get only PhD and the highest one would get JRF, and NET lies in the middle. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's take the example of English literature as the subject code 30. Now, for a general category candidate, you will see that the NET cutoff ranges somewhere around 55 to 60%. Okay. Only PhD would be somewhere around 40 to 45%, and JRF will be somewhere around 65%. So, this is how the three types of categories work. Now that we have understood the three factors on which your cutoff would depend, it's time to address the elephant in the room. That is the most important question, that how much should you score in paper 1 and paper 2 in order to be in that safe cutoff zone. That means to be in a zone where you can very easily clear the cutoff. Now we are going to use a three-step process to find that out. So the first step would be to find out the cutoff. Now how do you find out the cutoff of your particular subject and your particular category and your aim, of course? So you have to go to UGC website and look at the previous year cutoff list. From there you can go to the subject, and from there you can decide that what was the cutoff for your particular uh, category, be it general, OBC, ST, or the particular aim that you were having. Were you aiming only for PhD, or are you aiming for NET or for JRF? Okay, so let me even clarify that by giving an example. So let's take example of the highest cutoff for UGC NET English. Okay, let's say there's a student who wants to crack JRF. The aim is JRF and the category is general. So he's a general category student giving UGC NET English and aiming for JRF. Okay, so the cutoff would be somewhere around 70%. Okay, so let's take the higher side of it. 65 to 70 range cut है, let's take the higher side, 70% हम लेते हैं. So if a student wants to score 70% in UGC NET English, that means he has to score 210 marks out of 300 marks. Okay, so paper 1 and paper 2 में मिला के उसको 210 marks score करने. Step 1 is to find out how many marks do you have to score based on the cutoff. Now we move to step 2. There you have to find out how many questions you have to attempt correctly. Very simple math. Since every question carries 2 marks, you just have to divide the total marks by 2 and you will be getting the number of questions. So in our situation, 210 marks is what we are aiming at. So how many questions do we need to get correct? 105 questions. Okay, so step 2 is finding the number of questions. Now, step 3 is the most tricky part, and this is where you have to utilize all your brain energy. Now, step 3 is to find out how many marks should you get in paper 1 and paper 2 so that you reach the ideal cutoff marks, or how many questions should you answer correctly in paper 1 and paper 2 so that you are able to attempt the total number of questions correctly which is required by you to clear the cutoff. And there can be a lot of possible combinations, and you have to literally sit down and make this particular chart that I'm making in front of you. So going back to the same example, we are considering a candidate giving UGC NET English, aiming for JRF from a general category background, and the total number of marks required are 210 and number of questions he has to attempt correctly is 105. So there can be multiple scenarios. Let us take 4 common scenarios. The first combination of marks that he can get in paper 1 and paper 2 could be, he can try and get 90 marks in paper 1 and 120 marks in paper 2. That means 45 questions he have to correctly answer in paper 1 and 60 questions he has to answer correctly in paper 2. Okay, so this is one scenario. Next scenario could be 80 plus 140. Next could be 70 plus 150. And next could be 60 plus 160. Okay, and there can be a number of other combinations as well. But let us take some realistic combination. Now, out of these 4 combinations, if you ask me, I would probably suggest you to go with the middle 2 combinations because these are very good safe scores. So if you get 40 questions correct in paper 1, which is a decent number of questions, and 70 questions correct in paper 2, you will be able to qualify for JRF under general category. Okay, that means you will be able to secure 70% marks. You can also try another combination where you get 35 questions correct in paper 1 and 75 questions correct in paper 2. Even this is a doable combination. If we go to the third situation where we get 30 questions correct in paper 1, in this scenario, you have to get 80 questions correct in paper 2, which is like too much to ask for because Paper 2 at times is designed to be very tricky, and it is not so easy to get 80 questions correct from paper 2. That's why the safe combination would be getting 35 questions or 40 questions correct from paper 1 and 70 or 75 questions correct from paper 2. In this way, you are able to balance both the papers together and realistic आप एक target लेके चल रहे हो. Now, moving ahead, I would also want to give you 3 important tips when it comes to understanding the cutoff. The first tip, as you can see very well from the example that you have taken, that you cannot clear NET or JRF by solely relying on paper 2. A lot of students make this mistake. They would say that they are going to get 100 on 100 in paper 2 and they will neglect paper 1. This is an impossible scenario because paper 2 or paper 1, both the papers are designed in a manner where you cannot score more than 70 or 80% marks individually in both the papers. So if you are trying to get 100 on 100, then that is a score that you might not be able to achieve ever. That's why keep in mind that नेट और JRF निकालने के लिए पेपर 1 एंड पेपर 2 दोनों को बैलेंस करना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड दिस इज वेयर आई वुड ऑल्सो वांट टू टॉक अबाउट माय पेपर 1 book, the Amazon bestseller. It's a full complete guidebook which has 100 plus video lectures. This is India's only UGC net book that comes with scannable QR codes which helps you go to videos and watch these videos for all the important topics. And this has become an Amazon bestseller. Also, this has been praised by Dr. Dev Swaroop, who is the additional secretary of UGC, and it has also received praise from Mr. Bachchan. The book is really simple to understand, and I have divided the book into 33 chapters so that you can tackle one chapter per day, and in 33 days you can prepare effectively for paper 1. So if you really want to maximize your score in paper 1 using minimum time and minimum energy, then this book is a great option. You can check out more details about the book in the description box, or you can probably go to the Amazon page. It's available on Amazon, Flipkart and all other retail stores. So this was tip number 1 that I just mentioned. Tip 2 is that in order to determine how many marks should you score in paper 1 and paper 2, you have to first decide which is your more strong paper. So there can be students who are very good in their subject paper, so they can try and get close to 70-75 questions correct in paper 2, and they can focus less on paper 1. On the other side, there are students who have given a lot of competitive exams like bank, PO and all of these exams, and they are very good in the practical portion of paper 1, and they can score 40 or 45 questions correct in paper 1. In that case, they can be a little relaxed when it comes to the score of paper 2. So you can try to balance, and you will have to find out the ideal combination of marks that you should get in paper 1 and paper 2 based on which is your strong paper. Okay. And tip number 3, which is the last tip from my side, is that always when you are trying to determine the cutoff, try to determine a cutoff which is a little higher side. Okay. Why? Because 5% is like 5% weightage I always give for the stress or the exam pressure that you are going to feel on the day of the exam. So you should keep that margin with you. Always try to aim for 5% more marks in the mock test, so that even if you feel nervous or anxious on the day of the exam, and because of that you get a few questions wrong, you can still be able to meet the target score. So keep these 3 points in mind. I wish you all the best from my side for the upcoming NET exam. That's it from my side for this video lecture. I'll meet you very soon in the next video lecture. Till the time we meet next, happy learning, keep loving literature, and stay tuned to arpitakarwa.com.